Hello, everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Maybe I can change the world through women's sports. Golden State Valkyries Ohemaa Nyanin's unlikely journey to general manager. In a wide-ranging interview with Olympics, Ohemaa Nyanin shares the moments that shaped her and why now more than ever is the time for the WNBA's latest expansion team. That's a good question, Ohemaa Nyanin says, carefully considering the one word she would choose to sum up her life's journey to her current role as general manager of the Golden State Valkyries. Continuing to think, she pushes back on the offer of a second word. She's a rule follower, she insists. After a deep pause, she finally answers. Nyanin doesn't elaborate on her choice and, in truth, doesn't need to. The Ghanaian Americans ascend up the ranks to oversee all basketball operations at the WNBA's newest franchise, at a time when more eyeballs than ever are on the sport, is as impressive as it is historic. But it's also atypical compared to that of her peers. Rarely does an executive at Nyanin's level have no professional coaching or playing experience, making her, on the surface, an anomalous choice for the 13th franchise in the elite North American Women's Basketball League, connected by its owners to the 6-time NBA title-winning Golden State Warriors. But where Nyanin may be missing a hoops footnote or two on her resume, the rookie general manager makes up for it in mastery over a different kind of skill set, but one no less valuable when tasked with building a team from scratch. I learned at a very young age, we're all a product of our experiences, Nyanin tells Olympics, recounting her childhood as the firstborn of 2 Ghanaian parents from Ohio. Given her father's work at the World Bank, the family often traveled, living in multiple countries, including Zambia, Zimbabwe, Chile, and the Philippines. It was during an encounter in a grocery store in the latter at 6 years old that would hand Nyanin her first formative experience. My mom and I were in the grocery store, and there were a lot of people looking at us, and I was trying to figure out why they were looking at us. And as a 6-year-old, I just turned and looked at my mom, and I said, "Mom, why is everybody looking at us?" And she said, "It's because you're beautiful." And so I just turned around and said hello to everybody and waved. And I think that was a really pivotal moment in my life. Her mother's intervention, Nyanin is sure, transformed what could have been a deeply negative encounter into a positive one and left a significant mark on how she would come to perceive herself. Upon their return to the United States, another chance moment in a grocery store produced a second life-altering ripple. A man by the name of Marty Siegel walked up to my mom, which was a little odd in our neighborhood grocery store, and said, "Does your daughter play basketball?" And my mom said no. We had just moved back. And he said, "Well, on Friday night at our rec center, we'd love to have her." Nyanin went along and quickly forged a bond with basketball, discovering teamwork and friendship, but with the full intention of following in her father's footsteps by pursuing a career in international development. She didn't pay it too much mind. It wasn't until midway through the season of her first year at American University in Washington, D.C., studying international relations and communications, that she was encouraged to try out as a walk-on, a term for athletes who are given a roster spot at the Division I level without a scholarship. That basketball came back into her life in a significant way. With her career still her priority, Nyanin ultimately decided to shift away from playing college ball, but while completing her master's, she still wanted to be a part of the team. It was then she discovered the role of Director of Basketball Operations. For me, I love being behind the scenes. I love people. And I thought in the operations, what we didn't have, I'd be able to provide through hard work, Nyanin says, detailing the shift. I love the storytelling of our athletes. And to kind of sit behind the scenes and engage them in ways that aren't putting them in the S&O space. That's what brought me joy. Nyanin's pivot into operations took another turn when, after 4 years of volunteering for USA Basketball as they practiced at AU's Bender Arena, she was offered a full-time role as Women's National Team Assistant Director. She began first with the youth teams before working her way up to the senior national team just in time for the Olympic Games Rio 2016. I had the time of my life, Nyanin recalls. When the U.S. women's team won its 3rd consecutive gold at the FIBA World Cup in 2018, Nyanin thought about taking a step back from basketball altogether to refocus on her international development career, but fate had other plans when former boss Jonathan Colby asked if she would take up a role with the WNBA's New York Liberty. At the time, I thought, this isn't the trajectory my parents had asked me to be a part of, Nyanin says. They let me explore a passion for basketball in a way that I don't think they thought was something that I would do, and I kind of wanted to go back on track with the international development. And Jonathan just kept knocking at that door. And eventually I said yes. And I started as the manager of basketball operations. After quickly rising to the role of director basketball operations, she played an essential role in building the Liberty super team that would eventually emerge in 2023 with the time Olympic champion Brianna Stewart and Jonquil Jones joining Sabrina Ionescu. Yet by her third year, Nyanin found herself again at the crossroads wanting for more. It was then she shared her aspiration for the top role. Jonathan asked me what I wanted to do, and I thought to myself, maybe I want to be a general manager. Maybe I can do something in the way that I want to do, which is change the world, but maybe I can change the world through women's sports. And so right then and there, I became the assistant general manager, won the NBA championship with the New York Liberty in 2024, and simultaneously got this insane opportunity to be the first general manager of the Golden State Valkyries. Nyanin is refreshingly candid about the bumps in the road that led her to the helm of women's basketball's latest startup, but it's clear that the world of international development she left behind is still very much at the heart of her work. Years of cultivating emotional intelligence and understanding context have become trusted allies in forging a culture expected to deliver and fast. International relations and soft diplomacy is everything that I strive to do, Nyanin explains. Now that I'm kind of at professional basketball level, the game is global. I'm able to say a couple of words in languages that I don't speak. And just that endearing way of trying to connect with the human is how I've kind of grown. In addition, I'm someone who values. I value people, I value connection, I value the stories of each of our athletes, our staff members. How did you get to where you got to? Trying to understand someone's bigger picture is at the center of all Nyanin's recruitment pitches. The key, she says, is listening. If we're having a conversation, we already know you can play the sport. So what else do you bring? And how can we continue to collaborate to make sure that you get everything that you need off court? Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to win? Are you ready to change your community? Transforming a community is core to what we are trying to do, and the community is big. For this community in the Bay Area, they're hungry for a team. So, the type of athlete that we're looking for is an athlete who at their core has very high character. Who are you as an individual? Why do you want to be here? It's a vision and a mission that has led Nyanin to a remarkably international team both on and off the hardwood. Her head coach, Natalie Nakase, is Japanese-American. Her vice president of operations, Vanja Cernebeck, is from Slovenia. 13 members of the current Valkyries roster have international backgrounds, with 8 Olympians in the group. Nyanin dismissed any misconception that Golden State went deliberately down the import route for her playing pool, underlining their experience is what counts. These athletes can play basketball, she says. They play at a very high level. For most athletes that are international, they're playing professionally at a really young age, and we want to win basketball games in addition to winning hearts, so it doesn't matter where they come from. In fact, it will continue to enrich the experience by being as inclusive as possible. The broader signals coming out of the Valkyries camp are about winning, and while Nyanin makes no bones about the newest team's ambitions, she also knows from her time at the Liberty, building is a process and not all victories are made by buckets. In winning on and off the court, I believe, is how we're going to continue to define Valkyries basketball, Nyanin says. We want to make sure that this community feels. When they come into the gym and when they leave the gym, they feel something. A positive feeling about what we're doing and how we're building and winning. Still, Friday, May 16th is a date etched into the minds of all members of the Valkyries setup, with the season start also set to be their debut. The hype around the nascent franchise is tangible. 22,000 people have signed up for season ticket deposits, while its merchandise has been sold to over 70 countries. The recent announcement that Serena Williams has become a part owner of the next expansion franchise after the Valkyries, the Toronto Tempo. There is an electric feeling surrounding the league. Never did I think that I would be sitting here to engage people at this level, and their excitement and their kind of unapologetic nature of this is our time, both from the athletes and from the front offices and the league office, Nyanin says, of the global beast women's basketball is becoming. We're just glad that everyone else has woken up. Capitalizing on that surge will also be a core part of the Valkyries' mission as they look to build roots in the San Francisco Bay Area and beyond. The orange ball is more than just a means of playing basketball, it's a window of opportunity and demonstrating that, as Nyanin perhaps knows better than most. I want them to see themselves in any and everything that they want to be, she says of those the Valkyries are hoping to inspire. Our athletes are multidimensional humans. They play basketball, some are fashion designers, some are commentators, some are mathematicians and engineers. Right. Some love reading, some love animals. So, basketball could be your pathway into doing exactly what you want to do. But it's not your end all be all. Please subscribe the channel, share this with a friend, thank you.